Hello students of class 9. Hope you all are fine. You have already given one exam and already the results are declared, and I think you all know in which part of the subjects you all are lagging behind. So instead of wasting time, please try to focus on those parts that you are weak, and also try to practice more and more numerical part in the science subject, because numericals are very important in future. And also for the board examination, you have to understand the pros and cons of each and every chapter. Concept has to be clear, and you have to practice more and more. So today we will start with the chapter tissues, and already you know that the subject syllabus has been reduced a little bit. So we will be focusing on those chapters that are there in the present syllabus. Okay, so this chapter is the tissues, and I think you all know that the cells are the structural and functional unit of life, and many cells combine together to form what? Tissues. So when all the cells performing specialized functions are grouped together, they form what? Tissues. Okay. Some unicellular organisms, like those organisms that have only one cell, are called what? Unicellular organisms. There, only one single cell is capable of performing various functions. Like in amoeba, the cell itself will carry out its movement, or taking in of food, or respiring, or giving out a waste product. Everything will be carried out by the amoeba itself, and it is made up of only one cell. But what happens in multicellular organisms? There are so many types of cells, and these cells are specialized to carry out various functions. When these cells are specialized to carry out various functions, then this specialized function will be taken out by the group of cells, and this group of cells will be called as what? The tissues. Like for examples, you can see in the human body there is blood, then there is muscle, then you can see in the plants there is phloem, there is xylem. All these are example of tissues, that is the cells which perform specialized functions. Group of cells performing specialized functions are called what? Tissues. So in the cells there are proper division of labor. What do you mean by division of labor? That in multicellular organism, each cell specializes in function and they are grouped together. So some cells are specialized for excretion, some cells are specialized for respiration. So they will be grouped accordingly to form the tissues, and tissues will group accordingly to form the organs, and organs will be grouped accordingly to form the organ system, based on what? Based on the specialized function, whatever they are performing, whatever they are capable of. So then what are the tissues? Tissues are the group of cells which are similar in structure, and they perform particular functions. Like the muscle tissues, they are the group of cells that will perform contraction and relaxation, so that the body movement can occur, so that the muscular movement can occur inside the body in the delicate organs. So this type of functions will be carried out by particular cells which are grouped together, and these are called what? The tissues. Okay. So what are the tissues? These are the group of cells which perform particular functions. They are specialized to perform those functions, and they are most similar in structure. Muscular tissues grouping together will have similar structures. So that is why they are called what? Muscular tissue. Then blood is also a tissue which is called connective tissue. They will also have similar type of structures grouped together performing the similar type of function. So that is why it is called blood. So tissues are this group of cells. Now we can have a question, is that are the animals and plant tissues the same? So what we can see here, I have drawn the columns and I have written here animal tissues and plant tissues. So we can see that animal tissues, or the animals mostly, can move from one place to another. For this they need what? Energy. So mostly all the cells in the animal tissues are living. All the tissues What are the tissues? A group of cells. So mostly all the cells are living because they need a lot of energy to move from one place to another. Whereas you can see the plants are fixed. They can not move from one place to another. They are static. They are fixed. They are stationary. So they don't need so much of energy, but they need what? Support. They need strength. So mostly they are having what? Dead tissues. So this is a very, very important difference between the animal and the plant tissues, that they are living, and this plant tissues that they are dead. Living, they give energy, and dead, they need what? Strength and support, so that they can be fixed in a particular place. They don't need energy to move from one place to another. So in the pattern of growth also, you can see that some of the cells in the plant tissues can grow continuously, and some can divide and some cannot grow. Whereas in the animal tissues also, there is a more uniform pattern of growth. They can divide, some of the cells can divide throughout their life. So in the tissues of the plants, we can see there are dividing tissues and non-dividing tissues. But in the animals, their division is quite uniform. The growth is quite uniform. And so there is no differentiation between dividing and non-dividing regions in the animals. There is no differentiation which one is dividing, which one is non-dividing, because the cell growth is quite uniform in the animal tissues. So these are the important features in the animals and plant tissues. The structural organization of organs and organ systems is more specialized in the animals, because the organs and organ system perform various functions in the animals, and so they are more complex, and the organization is far more specialized in the animals than that of the plants. And the cells and the tissues are adjusted accordingly. Plants are stationary, so cells and tissues are like that only, so that they can adapt themselves to the stationary point of life. And animal tissues are mobile, they are adjusted to the animals' adaptation to active locomotion. Since the animal can move from one place to another, the cells and the tissues are activated, and they are having the characteristic feature so that the animals can get energy for moving from one place to another. So these are the differences between the animals and plant tissues here, which is the most important, that the animal tissues are living and the plant tissues are mostly dead. Okay. So I think you have understood about the tissues. And one more thing is that in the multicellular organisms, the specialized functions of tissues are very, very important, and grouping is also very important, so that each and every group of cell can perform the different function, because there are so many cells present in the multicellular organisms. Now we are going to discuss about the plant tissues. Already we have discussed about some of the differences between animals and plant tissues. Now we will highlight on the plant tissues. The tissues that are present in the plants are called what? Plant tissues. Now under that, we will study about the meristematic tissue. First of all, we will study about meristematic tissue, then we will proceed further. So the type of tissues that can continuously divide, the dividing tissues, and those that are present in specific regions are called the meristematic tissue. So in the plants, the growth can occur in specific regions. Why this growth occur in specific regions? Because of the presence of what? Dividing tissue. And this type of dividing tissue is known as meristematic tissue. Here and there growth will not occur in the plants. There are specific regions where growth will occur. This type of specific regions contain what? Dividing tissue. And what is this dividing tissue? This dividing tissue are called the meristematic tissue. It is located only on the specific regions where the parts are capable of dividing. So I will discuss now about the different types of meristematic tissue. The first one is the apical meristem, second is the lateral one, and the third is the intercalary meristem. So as you can see from the name, the apical meristem means that is present in the growing tips. Now we can see that the apical meristems are present in the growing tips. Which part of the plant will grow? In those parts the apical meristems are present. So that will be responsible for increasing in the height of the plant. The length of the plant will be increased towards the stem and also towards the roots. The roots will grow deeper into the soil and increase in length by the help of this apical meristem which are present in the growing tips. Next is the lateral meristem which are present at the girth of the plant, that is the lateral sides, which is also called the cambium. This will increase the area of the plant breadth-wise. Okay, so the height will be increased, like the height will be increased by the apical meristem. The girth of the plant will be increased by the lateral meristem present sidewise, and the intercalary meristem is present at the base of the leaves and at the internodes. Now what is the base of the leaf? The part that is attached to the stem is called the part of the leaf that is attached to the stem is called the base of the leaf, and the internodes are the points between the two nodes. So what is the node? The point from where the leaf arises in the stem is called the node. The point from where the leaf arises in a stem is called the node, and the space between the two nodes is called the internode. Now I will show you. Suppose this is the stem and from here the leaves arise. This point is called the node, and again one leaf arises from this part. This is also called the node. This is one node, this is one node. The space between the two nodes is called what? Internodes. So we have how many types of meristematic tissue? 3 types. What are these? Apical, lateral and intercalary meristems. Apical meristems will grow present in the growing tips. Lateral meristems in the trunk sidewise, and intercalary meristems are present in the base of the leaves and in the internodes, that is the space between the two nodes. Okay, so these are the 3 types. This is very easy. Now we have the characteristic features. So what are the characteristic features of the meristematic tissue? Are they have dense cytoplasm, they have thin cell walls, and there is no vacuole in the meristematic tissue. Now we all know that the plant cell contains the vacuoles, but here in the meristematic tissue this is an exception, that there are no vacuoles. So why there are no vacuoles? Because in the, what is the function of the vacuoles? Vacuoles are the storage organs. Yes or no? So vacuoles are the storage organs. So they do what? They will store some amounts of cell sap or anything inside the vacuoles. So when the cell sap is present inside the vacuole, this will cause problems in cell division. Proper cell division will not occur when there is a vacuole, because it is filled with cell sap. And also there is no need of the storage of the materials in the cell. So no vacuoles are present because there is no need of storage, also because the cells are continuously dividing, so there is no need of any storage inside the cells. So meristematic tissue does not have any vacuoles. So what are the features? They have dense cytoplasm, they have thin cell walls, and they have no vacuoles, which are the most important characteristic features of the meristematic tissue, which helps them to divide very easily. Okay. So in today's lecture we have discussed up to the meristematic tissue. In the next lecture we will be discussing about the permanent tissue in the plants.